I want to show you something that I made using the border function and some other functions. It was just a little Mickey Mouse cover. I did a velvet burn for the image of the mouse, of Mickey Mouse, and then I used the border function to put all these other stitches, and these are all stitches that are built into the Luminaire. We never had Disney running stitches before, but now you've got them in embroidery and sewing. Just a little project I did. Okay, now we're going to come in and we're going to go a little more detail. Oh. That reminds me, one of my students, Bernadette, she is so clever and she figures out so many things. And she showed us how to make a basting stitch for every hoop we have. And it is actually a basting stitch because you use the original basting stitch. So to make it, I have to load up a large design. So I'm going to load up a large design. We'll take the deer, okay? And we're going to say set. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to load my 8 by 10 hoop, 8 by 12. Say okay. All right. So there's my 8 by 12 hoop in the background. The black line is representing my hoop. The other is representing this deer. I can come in and make the deer bigger, and you'll understand why I'm doing this. So I'm going to stretch him out to be bigger, almost the size of my hoop. I don't care if he gets distorted or anything else, poor little deer. I got to bring it down some and in some. Go back in. Goes in small increments. Gotta make sure it's in there. Okay. Gotta wait for it to say, oh, now it did it all at once. Strange. I don't know why it's clicking at me. Weird looking deer, but I need to stretch him out. Just stretch him out slowly. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to design and stretch it out to about my hoop size. Okay. And after it's all stretched out and it stops moving, I'm going to say okay. Embroidery. Now I'm going to come into layout, and in layout, this white square right here, right under the word move, is your basting stitch. So I'm going to put my basting stitch on because my basting stitch is always design size appropriate. Okay, so that's why we wanted to use a big design. Now we're going to go return. And the interesting thing is now the basting stitch does not disappear. It did in the Quattro and the other in the 4500, but now in the Dream it stays there, and in this one it does. So what we're going to do now is we want to just select the deer and we're going to delete him. We only used him like a template to make our big square. Now we can come into size and we can make that a little bit bigger to pretty much go around the hoop. And it's an 8 by 12, so I can probably go 1175, and that's pretty close. So we'll say okay. One problem with this is you can't tell what size that hoop is when it's just in memory on the machine. So what I did, I come to add, I go into my fonts in folder 2, pick out any font, come to the numbers, and I'm going to put in that it's an 8. I got to go get the X. And I'm going to go back and get my numbers again, and it's 8 by 12. Okay, and say set. Okay, a little trick is come into edit, go to your color palette, and make your numbers be a different color. Okay, so if I click on this one, and I come and take the red, and then I say make all of them red. Is it working? I don't know why. 1 minute. I don't know why it's doing this to me, but you cut that and it should turn them all to red. It's okay if they're not, we can work with it. But we'll say okay. All right, now after I load, I'm going to put this in memory in the machine. Okay, so now 3 weeks later I come in, I want that basting to hold down that big heavy towel I'm making. I go to embroidery, I go to the pocket, I go to machine memory, and there's my basting. But see, you can't tell anything what size it is. That's why we put the letters in it. So now we're going to say set. We don't need to sew those numbers out, so we're going to delete them. They're just there for your beginning reference. Now you just have the basting stitch. And it's the exact basting stitch that was built into your machine. So that's just another little hint and trick, and we'll thank Bernadette for showing us that. I don't pretend to know everything, but I know enough people where I can get some answers. All right. We're going to talk about the Q folder, all right? Kind of a mystery folder. So what this is asking you, what pattern do you want to use for your sashing around your quilt block? So I'm going to say, I'm going to use this one, number 9, and say set. Okay. Now, if you have the upgrade, you get choices of how you want to lay it out. The upgrade will allow you to go up to 118 inches down on sides. You can actually do sashing for a king-size bed quilt. But we'll go ahead and we'll just take this one for today because not everybody has the upgrade. So up here it's asking me, what size is your block? I'm going to tell it my block is 15 set. I don't have to have it the same number over here. I could put in an odd number if I want, but I'm just going to put it's a square and set. Down here it's asking me what hoop do I want to use. I'm going to tell it I only want to use my 9.5 by 9.5 square. So now it's asking me how big do you want this little element to be on this blocking. I'm going to say I want it 3.5. I can go up to 3.75, but I'm going to say 3.5 and say set. Okay. I'm going to touch next. And now it showed me how it broke it all up. And I'm going to go memory. And it was saved in my embroidery machine memory. And there it is. Doesn't look any different until I click on it. And now it shows me all the elements. One moment, I have a pillow to show that I did it on. And I also did it with the other measurements going down the sides. And in the center is the new couching that was built into the machine. So if you can see that pillow, what you do down the sides, when it finishes an element, it puts a snowman there. And you put your snowman on your fabric and you have to line it up with what's on the screen. And then you keep going and everything lines up perfect all the way around. This was an upgrade class I did one time. Okay? But that's how you can use this sashing to go around big quilts. While we're on this screen, and this isn't my machine, belongs to the store, but I have saved a lot of things. And not a lot of people know this, but if you want to eliminate a lot of things at once, come down here by the word return, and you see there's like little squares and pencil. So if you open that up, I can select as much as I want or everything. I don't know what somebody's doing with that one. We'll come down here. Somebody was playing with this, huh? And I don't know which ones they want to save. Oh, I know what those are. Those are just samples of all the fill patterns. I did that a long time ago. I'm going to say delete. So now, when we go back, everything I clicked on is gone. So you can clean up your memory quite nicely just using that. You can select all or click on each one you want to delete. Okay. All right, we're going to go return. Design Center is different. I'm going to show you Design Center memory. So Design Center memory is up here in this pocket. And you have your choice. Is it in the machine? Is it on the USB, or on your smart card? You don't have those choices here. I have no idea what that is, but you just have delete, and you would have to select one and delete. Okay, one and delete. You don't have multiples. I'm going to cancel that. The other item is on when you're doing the flower to put different stitches around, there's no delete for any of these. What will happen when you add a new one, the last one will drop off. And then when you add a new one, the next last one will drop off. That's the only way they do it. You can't go through and delete several at one time.